Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and evening to all our attendees. It's great to see how many have turned up for our webinar today, which is all about around SAP BPC and what your alternatives are moving forward. According to Gartner, what we'll be showing today is from their Magic Quadrant is the market-leading solution for FP&A. My name is Martin Hope. I am the VP of Business Development for Evosys, and I'm joined today by Arun Sankara, who's our European expert for FP&A. So just a little background about who we are, and I'll be running the introduction. Again, Arun, if you could, please. So what we'll be doing today is just a short introduction about the impact, really, of the current market conditions and how we think they're going to impact the FP&A solution market. And I'll be talking a little bit about some analysis that has come out of McKinsey recently, which I think is helpful to most organizations that are challenged by the conditions from the pandemic. Then what we'll be doing is moving on to an introduction to the FP&A solution that Gartner holds dear, with then a short demonstration of its capabilities for you, so that you get an idea of its look and feel, how easy it is to use, where it can be deployed, what broad level of functionality it's got, and then we'll be finishing with a Q&A session. So get ready with any questions that you've got. If you could use the text panel to ask your question, and we'll get through as many of those as we can. We're already seeing a number of questions coming through, so thank you very much for those. Next slide, Arun, please. So the disruption has happened to many businesses. There are very few Amazon businesses around that have really made hay whilst the sun shines. A lot of further businesses, probably thousands, tens of thousands of organizations, have seen massive disruptions in their business and had to do significant change. This report is really interesting. It's called the 5 R's that you can see on the left-hand side, and it's been a study of organizations around the world and looked at how they've coped with the pandemic, with business in the pandemic that we're seeing right now. It's a cross-section of businesses, and they've analyzed them to see what they've done and how they expect them to come out, and they've drawn some very interesting conclusions. Those in the upper quartile, so the top 25%, seem to have coped best, and they've changed the way that they operate. They're looking at things. They're determined from a project point of view to do shorter, quicker, higher return projects, and they're shying away from, and we're certainly seeing that in the opportunities that we're working on globally, that they're shying away from very large-scale, multi-year projects. Typically, they're looking at shorter-term projects, 3 to 6 months. Not really much longer than that. Very, very strong, measurable financial benefit. And next slide, please, Arun. And they expect that to continue post-pandemic. They think that organizations have seen these quick return, these quick benefits, and that they are expecting that to continue as we come out of lockdown. I'm sure in different parts of the world, we're all experiencing different things that we've never seen before. I think this was also a key that came out, which was they're seeing organizations do things so much faster in the pandemic. They give an example of a bank that has done a rollout. Would normally take 4 to 4.5 years, but they've done it in 3.5, 4 weeks. Unheard of, but I'm sure all of you have experienced it. If you think about going from working in offices to working from home offices, it's not just the case of getting your PC, it's security, it's cyber, it's everything else. And these projects are driving our behaviors. And what we expect to happen in the FP&A market is that that's likely to happen across the technology landscape as well. So whereas organizations often have a 1, 3, 5 year plan to say, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this product, we're going to roll it out. We're we know exactly what it's likely to be. We are seeing changes in those plans so that organizations end up with a heterogeneous set of technology. So not just one size fits all. And certainly in the case of SAP's BPC, where it's being superseded by a plethora of products rather than a single product, it's going to be necessary, if you're looking at an alternative for FP&A, to consider those products that really span that whole gamut of different solutions, different technologies. So without further ado, if I may, if you could press the button again, Aaron. Just to show you the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and you can see that the solution that comes out top in that Magic Quadrant, top right-hand side, is Oracle's EPM solution that we'll be highlighting to you today and then walking you through. Next slide, Aaron, please. And if I may, I'll pass you over to Aaron now to take you through the overview and the demonstration. Please do ask us your questions. We will endeavour to respond to as many of those at the end of the presentation as we can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Martin. Thanks for that. Just before I proceed, Martin, can you confirm if you're able to hear me fine?
Yes, I can, Aaron. You're coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Yeah, I think so. As Martin rightly explained, I think from here on, what we'll do is we'll discuss about what FP&A options you have, and what product suites are available, and what its capabilities are. So to begin with, I'm just going to emphasize on the fact that what we're presenting here is about Oracle FP&A, and what Oracle FP&A is known for is that it's an integrated, and it's basically a single platform that addresses all of your requirements of FP&A. So if you look at this diagram on the right-hand side, it basically talks about all of your financial analysis and planning activities. So it starts with planning and budgeting. You can also perform costing and consolidations. You can also, have analytics and create reports. You also have, performing intelligence applications within the same product suite. And it also aligns all of your enterprise data together, which is quite key to have a uniform hierarchy or organization structure. So basically, you're looking at an application that brings together all these operations for you. So it's basically, you can treat it as an interface that brings operations, finance, IT, sales, marketing, and HR together. The best part about FP&A suite of Oracle is that it's quite flexible in nature. So if you don't want all of the modules, you can just go ahead with any one of the implementations. So let's say you only want to focus on planning and budgeting, so you can just do that. There's no compulsion that you have to do everything else as well. And one of the best part of the solution is that it also has an out-of-the-box best practice solution. So basically what it does is it gives you a complete out-of-the-box solution, which will have capability, or you'll have basically the ability to make modifications to or personalize further. We'll take a look at that once we get to the demonstration stage as well. And yeah, I think the most important part about this suite of product is that it's data agnostic. So by data agnostic, what I'm trying to say is you are not dependent upon a certain application for bringing across your, let's say, actual balances or your employee records or any other information that you need for performing your budgeting, forecasting, or let's say consolidation or costing. The application can integrate with any application. It can integrate directly, or it can rely on flat files-based integrations as well. So these are some of the key capabilities of the product. At this stage, actually, we were also quite keen to run a quick poll to basically just assess how you feel about some things. So at this stage, we'll start a quick poll for you. This might be up on your screen right now. What we'll do is the poll will be up for next, let's say, 10 seconds. So we're just trying to understand, how you feel about certain aspects. We just have 3 of them, so don't worry, you'll not be bothered quite often between this demonstration. So yeah, I think in the next 2 to 3 seconds, what we'll do is we'll end the poll. We'll just have your feedback because it helps us in planning for these sessions better, or addressing your concerns even more in a directed way. Yeah, okay. I think at this stage we'll close the poll. We just wanted to take 10 seconds for that and not spend a lot of time on it. And yeah, from here on, what we'll do is we'll move on to the next set, where I quickly just wanted to show you what each of the product suite does and what its capabilities are. So when I talk about Oracle FP&A, it basically includes this 7 set of modules or applications or systems, whatever you want to call them, but they're all part of one single platform. Now, each of them does a different job. So some of them may interest you, some of them could be a pain area for you, or some of them could be aspirational for you to say that, okay, no, we wanted to do this, but we don't know right now how to get there. So to quickly summarize, out of the 7, the first one is Oracle Planning. So Oracle Planning is basically an application which would allow you to perform all of your budgeting, forecasting, long-term planning, short-term planning, your sales planning, your workforce budget, and all of those activities that you generally perform. And yeah, basically what it can also do is if you have any custom financial model that you currently do right now, it will also support you in doing that. So that's one of the applications. The next one is Oracle Costing. So some of the organizations may, have a lot of, so you could either be in manufacturing or a service-based organization. Basically, anything that you offer, you'd want to cost it. And this application can, help you exactly in doing that. So Oracle Costing has got very strong capabilities where, it can bring across various drivers. It'll give you ability to perform activity-based costing, driver-based costing. So the opportunities of costing are innumerous. It also helps you in identifying the right cost to achieve a certain profitability amount. It's quite popular amongst a lot of our customers, but yeah, you can use it for costing as well as profitability. The next one is consolidation. So if we are an organization who's spread across the globe or has got a lot of entities which have got a complex ownership structure, such as, we may have mergers and acquisitions, or some of our entities could be partly owned or could be partly, basically it could be a joint venture or a merger and things like that. But yeah, whenever there's a situation like that, you would definitely want to have a quick solution that consolidates all of your financials quite smoothly and enables you to close your periods in quickly or basically right at the time. So Oracle Consolidation is the tool that will help you in doing that. Just hitchhiking on the topic of period closure, account reconciliation or transaction reconciliation is also quite an important step of period closure. So one of the FP&A modules of Oracle is also account reconciliation. So you can surely, have a automated account reconciliation process where the system would identify all of the key accounts that you have, set up, and it'll try to match them. And if there are any mismatches, it'll give you the ability to set up a threshold. So you can say that, if the balances are off by a couple of pounds or dollars or euros, then that's fine, auto match it. But if it's off by a significant amount, then highlight it from my review. So it can do all of that. And this application can do the same for transactions as well. So let's imagine that there are a lot of transactions within the organization, and you would want to match them with, let's say, bank entries or any other, let's say, invoice numbers and stuff like that. So you can use the account reconciliation tool for that. It does that in a quite an automated fashion. Now, whenever you are talking about FP&A applications, the first thing that comes to mind is what about our monthly reporting or our annual reporting? Now, narrative reporting is the tool that would, be the right fit for achieving all of those results. Narrative reporting has got a very unique capability that, it can source data from any of these applications. Plus, if you want, it can also take data from any external applications as well. So it can bring together a lot of data for you, which is required for FP&A reporting, and then it'll allow you to prepare them. And not just that, it has got capabilities of creating narrative-based reporting. So imagine there's a big document, that you prepare every year or every month, which includes a lot of your financial planning details or costing, profitability, or consolidation information. Let's say budgeted balance sheets or forecasted balance sheets or other income statements. Narrative reporting would help you in preparing the whole document. So you can have a team which can work on different areas of that document using different data sets and different narratives, and someone else can work on different parts of the document. It'll all come together in the application, and then you'll also have people to review them or approve them. So basically, narrative reporting can become your one-stop shop for all of your reporting needs. The next one is enterprise data. I'll come to enterprise data after I cover tax reporting. So tax reporting basically enables you to, perform all of your tax-based calculations or reportings on tax. Let's say, for example, VAT reportings and any other information that you would have that you want to be calculated in tax. The best part about this application is that it supports XBRL exports. So if you are supposed to upload any of those your tax filings or information like that on government websites in XBRL format, this application would generate the results in XBRL format. So that you can simply export, import, or we can also look at uploading them directly on the websites. So tax reporting basically does that. And these 6 applications basically try to encompass all of your FP&A activities. The 7th one, which is enterprise data management, is basically a master metadata tool. So what it means is that it can always maintain updated hierarchy that you can use across all the other applications. So let's say you have a very complex hierarchy structure or a structure that changes quite often. Enterprise data management would become your source application for all of those hierarchy management. It'll pick up any changes and automatically reflect on any of these applications. So let's assume that your hierarchy changed in a certain month. That will definitely lead to changes in how you report or how you identify your variances. So enterprise data management would do that job. It will pick up all of your new hierarchies and send them out to all these applications so that you have the accurate hierarchies in all the applications. So that's a quick summary of all of the EPM applications. And I can see that some of you have questions, but yeah, we'll take them at the end. At this stage, we'll also quickly do our second poll. Now, again, just like the first poll, what would happen is that this poll will come up on your screens, and it'll only stay for, let's say, 10 to 12 seconds. And once you've completed that poll, we'll then progress to our next slide. Again, just to highlight, if you've joined us in between, the poll is just to understand what you're doing right now better, so that we're able to help you in a much better way and also answer your questions in that way. I think we'll end the poll in, let's say, 3 or 4 more seconds. And while you're doing that, I'll also explain you what's going to come next after the slide. So after this slide, what we'll do is we'll also quickly take a look at how integrations would work, like how we'll get data from SAP BPC or any of the SAP transactional systems as well, and how it will all be integrated into this Oracle FP&A platform. Now, with respect to this, basically this picture, what I'm trying to explain is Oracle application, which is over here. It's the official terminology of this application suite is EPM Cloud, and that's what it's mentioned here. It has got capability of integrating with any application, as I said. So we've listed down various options over here. So you can have a database which could be of any type, and one of them is SAP. You can have a data warehouse where you're maintaining all of your data, or you could be using any other systems or databases where you're holding your data or information. Or you may have a lot of Excel files where you have this information that you need to bring into the application. And the other thing is, if at all you're using any of the Oracle FP&A modules already, it again obviously has capabilities of bringing data from Oracle EPM or FP&A applications into Oracle Cloud. So the key over here is this integration agent. So what integration agent does is it's basically a tool that Oracle offers without it's a part of the product. It has got capability of linking with any of these applications to source the required data and then uploading them into Oracle Cloud. In terms of Oracle Cloud's capability of interfaces, you can also integrate with any ERP cloud systems as well. So if you want any data from a cloud-based system, it can also integrate to bring that over. Definitely, when you rely on Oracle-based applications for sourcing data, there would be some benefits. So for example, with Excel file as well as with Oracle applications, you can create a seamless drill through wherein, for example, if you've brought in actual expenditures, if the source is any of these applications, you'll be able to go down to those source files or source applications to drill down and see what the actual transactions are. So that's the high-level overview of how integration can work and how data can come through. We just wanted to give you a brief summary of it. If you have any more questions on this, or if you would like to understand this in more detail, we can definitely take them as a part of Q&A. or we can set up a separate session specifically with you for that. With that said, I'll now just want to highlight the fact that Oracle EPM applications or Oracle FP&A applications have been consistently recognized as the market leaders in terms of all of your financial planning and analysis applications. So this is the most latest one on the left-hand side. It's from October 2020.
Oh, hi, we're just having a technical issue with Aaron's PC. He's coming back online now. So as soon as he comes back, we can restart this. But as he was saying, what you can see in front of you are the last 2 years Gartner Magic Quadrants. And you can see that on the right-hand side, the 2019 Magic Quadrant, Oracle was moving into the sort of the leader stroke visionary lead. And on the left-hand side, you can see that that lead has now been extended. And we expect it to stay that way, or we are expecting to stay that way through 2021 and 2022. The reason that we're having this presentation today is all about making sure that you have an alternative. And I know from my experience in the SAP community for the last 25 years, organizations take a lot of store from the Gartner Magic Quadrants. And Gartner do a great job at analyzing the market and maintaining that independence. Sometimes that's frustrating for vendors, but it is ultimately a great thing for customers. If you do have any questions, by the way, if you could send them through. We've got a number of them now. And as soon as Aaron comes back online, then we'll be able to pick the presentation up and go into the demo. I think there was a problem with his PC, so apologies for that. Mitali, I think it's probably useful if we run the final poll whilst we're waiting. So we would have run this slightly later for you, but I think in the interest of time, it's probably best that we run it now. If you could just respond, we'll give you a minute and a bit just to go through it, if you could, and let's see how you respond to this particular poll.
Yeah, perfect, great. Yeah, just a quick confirmation before I proceed, Martin. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can see EPN Cloud Planning with Aaron and the planning process and the colourful discs.
Perfect. Yeah, again, I'm really sorry about this. My laptop just crashed midway. But yeah, just to give a quick introduction of what you're seeing on your screens right now. Basically, this is the Oracle Cloud EPM application. The one I have open on my screen is called Planning. The first one where I explained that it does all of your budgeting, forecasting, and long-term planning needs. Now, to give you a quick brief of how the screens look like, on the left-hand side, this would be where you'll be able to see yourself. It can have your image and as well as your username. Right now, it shows me. Then the application has the capability of giving notifications. So what would happen is that you'll be able to give notifications to say that let's say this one says the FP&A fiscal planning year will conclude on Friday, which means everyone who's preparing or working on that needs to complete it by that specific date. You can also give multiple announcements so that every user is aware of various deadlines. The application can also send out notifications as well. Now, in terms of why we have all of these colorful discs, as Martin mentioned them, so basically these are various icons which signify what process they are going to perform. So if you're a user of this application who's an admin, then you will get to see all of the icons that I have on my screen. However, if you're just an end user who's responsible for, let's say, just financial budgeting and forecasting, In that case, you'll only see this icon and a few others like dashboards and reports. Now, when I press on any of these icons, it basically brings across another set of small icons. These small icons are nothing but, the activities that will be performed within those set of icons. So, for example, for financials, we have split down the process into various aspects like, let's plan for revenue, let's plan for expenses, let's then take a look at our financial statements, and then probably if we want to perform any what if analysis, we can also do that. Now, again, all of these icons are quite customizable in nature and they're quite personalizable as well, which means that, if you're an organization that doesn't do revenue and expenditure separately, that they can be clubbed together as well. So just to explain that, it's quite a flexible application and it can personalize your current requirements as well. Now, in one of the slides, I had mentioned that the product suite is basically an integrated product suite. Now, what did I mean by that? So what happens is that, as I said, this one is showing you an application that does planning and budgeting. But what if you also perform financial consolidation? Now, in such cases, over here, this hamburger button basically includes all of the various options. So this is where you're connected with all of the other processes. So you'll be able to do the account reconciliation where you're basically matching different accounts or matching different transactions. You then have costing and profitability as well. So if we are performing any activity-based costing or if we're checking profitability, that can happen here. Enterprise data to keep your hierarchies in sync. Financial consolidation and close, narrative reporting if you're looking at reporting, and then tax reporting as well. So what's happening over here is that if you perform any of the multiple options that are available in the application, you'll be able to see all of them here. Now, if you're basically a system admin for the whole FP&A process, or if you're finance director for the whole FP&A process, you will be able to see all of these icons. And let's say if as an organization you decided to just do the planning and budgeting and account reconciliation and not do any of the others, then you'll only have these two. So the idea here is that you have got as many possibilities as possible in terms of taking any of these applications or not using the rest, depending upon your needs and requirements. In terms of what you see on the right-hand side, these are various options of the application. This is nothing but the same icons that we were looking at. So if you recall, when I expanded financial, it brought up these set of icons. To take you back to that screen, in financials, basically, you'll be able to perform your financial planning and any driver-based structure that you would like to. Just to quickly show you how your screens may look like. So this is the very first step of performing financial planning. It starts with a good dashboard to show all of the key aspects, like what was the forecast for last year, what was the year-on-year change in our revenue as compared to last year, gross profit for the last year, gross profit year-on-year change, and some of the other important information. Now, these are again very customizable and personalizable. So if you want any other metric to show up, that's quite possible. And these dashboards then simply show you various other aspects of the business. Similarly, you can do the same for your financial statements as well. So you can look at your EBITDA, your margin percentages, your total revenue, and all those aspects associated to your financial statements. This is not a very full-blown or detailed demo. Therefore, I'll not go into all of the other icons, but I'll quickly show you how you'll be able to enter data or interact with the application where you feel like making changes. So the application supports all types of planning, could be driver-based, could be activity-based, incremental, zero-based budgeting, all the various types of budgeting and forecasting we have. So this example is just driver-based, where we have various drivers listed down, and again these are quite customizable. If you have various other drivers that you want to include, you can do that, or you can use what's already available in the application. Against various drivers, you can also identify a trend in terms of how they are basically performing. You can say that for this driver, I simply want to bring across current month's actual. So for volume, what will happen is the application will automatically take the actual volume and bring that across as your driver, and it'll show that calculation. You would still have the ability of increasing or decreasing it by a certain percentage. So let's say if you feel that for this financial year, your volume is going to increase by, let's say, 2%. So you'll be able to enter that 2% and the system will recalculate that. And even after that, if you feel that you don't want to increase it by a certain percentage because you're not too sure about its accuracy, you can increase the budgets or forecast by just by an amount. And you also have the ability of entering those amounts on individual quarters or on a certain month as well. So the granularity of the application would, basically enable you to perform activities either on the top level or right at the most bottom level. Not just that, the application possesses great audit capabilities as well. So any information that a user has entered, it will always be held, and you'll always be able to create an audit to see who made that change on what date and what time. On the top, you also get ability of creating multiple scenarios, having various versions of your work, and you can do that for entities. So you can also restrict people from accessing everything. So if I'm only responsible for a certain entity, you can restrict me to only just that entity, and I'll only be able to see certain screens. This screen is just to enter drivers and see its impact. You can then have a very detailed budgeting or forecasting exercise as well, where it will show you all of your accounts from your account segment and bring across all of the sub accounts as well, and then simply give you the ability of making changes. So that's overall how the application looks like, how it takes data, and how you can basically interact with the information. We can also do a very detailed demo for you, but since we are quite short on time today and we only wanted to give you a quick introduction, I'll take you to the last part of the demonstration. So the last part of the demonstration is this plugin called SmartView. So what SmartView does is SmartView basically connects your MS Office applications with your Cloud Oracle FP&A application. So all the 7 modules that I mentioned, they all are connected with this single FP&A plugin, which will allow you to connect with all of the applications. So let me quickly do a login. I'm sorry, I had already logged into it, but as you know, my laptop crashed at a very unfortunate time, so I'll have to just re-log in. So what I'm doing is, this is the application I have up on the web, and now I'm just using Excel and this plugin called SmartView to connect with that application. So when I say connect, I'm just logging in, and once I log in, what would happen is the MS Office applications of Excel, Word, PowerPoint, as well as Outlook, they all will be connected to my cloud application, which means that I'll be able to interact as well as create reports of my choice in any of these applications. So I'll just quickly sign in. Just a second. Yeah. So now I'm logged in to the application. What I'll do is, just for simplicity, I'll just open one of those forms where we were simply looking at the drivers, and I explained to you that you can enter a percentage, or you can enter an amount. Let's go with this. So this is basically the same form that I had open on the cloud application. What I'll do is, let me just get rid of that. So yeah, this is the same screen that I had shown on web. What I'll do is, I'll again take you back there just for simplicity. Yeah, so this is the screen that we checked last. These are the same amounts. I've just connected with the application in Excel SmartView. So basically what SmartView does is, SmartView gives you the ability of connecting all of the Oracle Cloud applications with your MS Office applications. So when I say MS Office applications, I'm talking about Excel, Word, PowerPoint, as well as Outlook. How that works is, basically you get this plugin called SmartView, and from within the panel, you'll get the option to connect with the application. Just to save time, I've already connected. And within that application, you'll be able to access anything that you will have to use for performing your activities. So just to give you an idea, what I'll do is, I'll open one of the forms that we've taken a look at on the web application. What I'll do is, I'll probably open the drivers one. Now, what I'm doing over here is, I'm just accessing the same form that we saw on web. However, I'm just doing that on Excel. Now, when I do that, I'll be able to both interact as well as create reports from the same grid. So for example, this is the drivers form that we had on the web application. I can enter information. So for example, I can enter values over here. And after I've entered the values, I simply have to hit on the submit data button. Now, when I pressed on that, it has automatically updated the year total values. And along with that, it has also done the same changes on the web application too. So let me quickly take you back to the web application. Yeah, I think it's this form. So when we go to that form, the amounts we entered on SmartView would automatically have appeared over here. Now, similarly, it works both ways, and it's live. So whatever values you enter on either of the applications, they're basically getting uploaded on the application on the cloud immediately. So you're not waiting for any of these changes or actions to happen, or you're not running any integrations. As soon as I press refresh, the amounts I entered online would automatically appear over here. So it's a live interface. You're basically connecting to the cloud application through your MS Office applications. Not just that, you also have complete flexibility of creating grids of your own choice for any custom reporting needs that you have. So just to give an example, if you don't like the structure, you can press on this Analyze button. Now, what Analyze does is, Analyze now gives you the complete flexibility of playing with the structure of the form. So for example, if you want the same report that you were looking at previously, but you only want it for, let's say, the Jan period, you can simply go select Jan over here first, and then press on this button called Keep On. Now that will automatically, reduce all of the columns to just January. And let's say you've changed your mind. Now you want to see the full total value and not just Jan month. That is possible as well. You simply refresh those values and press on this refresh button, and it automatically brings the year total value. This grid is very flexible. However, bear in mind, it's only allowing you to make changes to the grid which you have prepared, which means that the original form where we were performing all of those data entry actions, it's still around. So when I pressed on that Analyze button, it simply created a new spreadsheet for me where it's allowing me to play with the structure. So over here, if I also want to bring across the total value from, let's say, March, I can simply type them over here, right where the grid ends, and I can hit on refresh, and the system will automatically bring across that information. It does it on both rows and columns. It basically gives you the ability of bringing across any set of data. So just as an example, let's assume I removed gross profit, okay, and then I realize, no, I actually want to see it. I can again simply type gross profit and hit on refresh, and the grid would automatically bring it back. You can do that for any accounts, not just the ones that you've deleted. I just used that as an example. I generally call Oracle SmartView as the best of both the worlds, which is Oracle Cloud as well as MS Office. The reason I say so is because all the Excel functions that you have are still around. So there's no Excel function that is restricted when you're using SmartView. So for example, if this is the grid that you've liked and you want to create a chart out of it, you can simply use all of the Excel pivot options, and it will automatically bring across the chart. You again get all of the features of Excel to update the charts or modify your legends and things like that. And on top of it, if this is a grid that you use quite often, or you want to include it in any Word document or in a PowerPoint, that step is easy as well. So if you want to use the same grid, and if you want that grid to be connected to the cloud application, what you can do is you can simply copy this grid from the SmartView panel. Bear in mind, I'm using the copy function from the panel, and I'm not using the Control-C or copy option in Excel. Now, when I copy it in SmartView, I can, let's say, simply go to a Word document. I'll again have SmartView over there. Once I have SmartView, I'll simply press on this paste button. So what this would do is, it'll first of all bring across the same table onto my Word document, and it'll also establish the connection with that grid. It'll simply ask me to refresh, and once I refresh, it'll also update all of those values. Now, this table is showing the same data that we have on our Excel grid, and it is also connected to the application, which means that you can use Word features to make changes or make edits to this table. But yeah, the numbers and fields, all of them are up to date with what's happening in the application. So at any point in time, if you feel that this table gets updated and you want to update that table in your report as well in Word, the exercise is simple. You can simply go to SmartView, and then you can simply press on that refresh button, and it will bring across the most latest information. Interestingly, a lot of our customers also use this feature for monthly update reports. So imagine a grid that you have copied, and you can also paste it in Outlook in a similar way that I've done it on Word, and then you can send out the email. The next month, when that data gets updated, you don't have to recreate the table or that grid. Simply open up the same email, go to SmartView and hit refresh, and the application would automatically update the results for you. So basically, that's how SmartView works. It's a good feature to have where it connects your MS Office applications with Oracle Cloud features. So that's about SmartView. So in the meanwhile, what we'll also do is we'll quickly also check for your questions and stuff. So if you have any questions, please add them to the question list, and we'll try and address them in the.
We have had a couple of questions already, by the way. So if you do want them answered on this particular call. We are going to have 5 or 10 minutes free at the end. If you can send them to us, we'll try and do them in order. So if you just under questions on the GoToWebinar, if you just drop it down, you can just send us a question. So if you can, it's up to you how you send it. You can send it to all and everybody will get the question, that's fine. Or just fill your question in and it will come through to us, and myself or Aaron can answer it depending upon what it is.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, that was a quick demonstration that we wanted to cover. The next slide, which I simply wanted to explain, was that, based on what we have seen so far, I just wanted to emphasize that Oracle as a cloud product, it gets updated monthly. So what that means is that, Oracle is constantly adding features to the product. So it gets added with new features or enhancements of the existing features quite regularly. So every month you're looking at, new capabilities coming into your application, and Oracle has got a very strong roadmap for all of these applications. So we'll be more than happy to, give you more information on that. But yes, the best part is you're not losing out on any features. Once you've taken the product, all of these updates are automatically applied to your environments. You don't have to, ask for it or probably pay more for that. It's all a part of your package. And because of that, you're looking at a consistent growth of your feature set. So for example, you may right now not be doing a certain process, but since the product has got those capabilities, you can always be rest assured that, you don't have to again go out to market and search for a product or buy something additional to do that part. Since all of it is included in one product suite, you basically have something ready for you. You're just not using it right now, but you can use it as soon as, you feel you're there or you feel you're ready for it. Because of these features where the product suite is quite flexible and the products are available handy, you can start any implementation quite sooner. So for example, if you feel that you've got 3 or 4 months to your next budgeting cycle, but you would like to replace the application, that's quite possible as well, because since it's a cloud application, it doesn't take a long time to implement or to start use. It has got a very easy way of migrating between environments as well. So for example, let's say you have 4 environments for your planning and budgeting and module. In terms of migrating the solution from one environment to another, to be honest with you, it's as simple as moving the file between one folder to another folder. You're not looking at a very technical process or a very time consuming exercise of moving a lot of technical artifacts or aspects. It's as simple as moving a file from one folder to another folder within your laptop. It doesn't take a long time either. Plus, it can also be automated. So if you want that to happen quite regularly, that can also be scheduled. And as with any cloud-based application, you can access it from anywhere, provided your organization has authorized that access. So it can be accessed through any browser, mobile devices, tablets, or any of these smartphones. But yes, if you also want to restrict it to say that, no, we only want it to be used on our company devices, company laptops and stuff, that can also be enabled. Having said that, even though it's a cloud-based application, Oracle has got a very secure environment, and all of these servers follow a very stringent security policies. And on top of it, there is a strong intrusion mechanism as well to make sure that no intrusion happens, and protection around disaster management as well. If you're more keen on knowing how that is held, we're more than happy to organize something with Oracle, and our friends at Oracle would be more than happy to explain you how all of that works. Now, with that said, I'll want to pass it on back to Martin. Yeah, Martin, can you take over from here?
Sure, of course I can. Of course I can. The one thing we haven't talked about yet is who are we? Who is Evasys Global? Who is capable of supporting you either in country, in UK or Europe, or who's capable of supporting you around the world? So I thought I'd just put this rather busy screen up for you, but just helps to answer some of your questions. We have a specific glide program which helps transform organizations from SAP's on-prem systems to Oracle Fusion systems, SaaS systems. We use that for these products like the one we've just looked at, which is Oracle's EPM product. A lot of you I know will probably recognize it because when you did your review of BPC, all those years ago, you probably also looked at Hyperion, and that's the roots that this product has come from. So it's got a lot of really positive history. You wouldn't be alone. We have hundreds of EPM sites around the world. Oracle have thousands of EPM implementations on SAP. In fact, some of SAP's largest S/4HANA implementations, as well as their ECC implementations, utilize EPM because of its independent structure. We are 14 years old as a partner, so we've been around the block a lot. We are global. Gartner have us in their Magic Quadrant with reference to being a global systems integrator for Oracle. And we are also Oracle's largest partner for their SAP to Oracle practice. We've won an awful lot of awards. We are 15, 16, 1,700 people strong. It's difficult to keep a handle on that as we grew 250 people last year. And yeah, if you would like anything from us, please do reach out. We're here to support you and here to answer any questions that you've got. Could press the button for me, Aaron, please. So if we could move on to your questions. I've got a couple here, Aaron, that came through earlier. So are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So first question, we currently use SAP BPC, and we've got some concerns because we're going to have to use a sort of a collection of solutions if we move forward. It currently integrates data from multiple places, including some cloud-based applications. Is that possible to do with Oracle's FP&A solution?
Got it. Yeah, I think to answer your question in short, the answer is yes. Oracle FP&A does have capability of sourcing data from multiple sources. For example, it can bring across data from, let's say, SAP-based transactional systems. Then it can also integrate with a database to bring across other information, and also Excel. So there's no limitation that it will only integrate with one application. You can bring data across from multiple applications.
Okay, thank you for that. Next one's a comment, actually, and thank you for that. I won't mention who it came from, but they said it's interesting because it seems to have a much broader footprint than BPC, and slightly easier to use with that integration piece with Excel. So I thought you'd find that interesting, Aaron, since I know you've been slightly stressed with your PC crashing. Next question for you. Can finance manage Oracle FP&A application by themselves, or would we need support from our product experts as we do currently?
Got it. I think if the finance is keen on managing the application, they can absolutely do that. Since it's a cloud-based application, there's no technical aspect or heavily technical knowledge-based things. So basically, you can always manage this application by yourself. And interestingly, a majority of our existing customers, the finance team manages this solution. But yes, they also have IT team around just in case they need help or as a fallback option. But yes, finance team can manage the application completely independently.
Fantastic. And there looks to be one more question for you. How much time have we got? Yeah, we can squeeze it in. Do all the mentioned applications pass data between each other? I think that refers to that one of your earlier slides. If they do pass data to each other, what sort of frequency are we talking about of that data is it transfer or is it just available?
So yeah, I think in terms of the data movement between all of these applications, it's quite smooth and it's seamless. So the data moves between planning to consolidation, and from consolidation to, let's say, narrative reporting as well. And there's no integration or a setup required for that. Basically, these applications and modules can interact with each other and get that data to their side of things. And in terms of frequency, it's completely a flexible choice. So if you want to do that monthly, it can happen monthly. If you want to do it weekly, you can also schedule it for a weekly interface to get that data through.
So that's you're talking about data coming from the source systems, but I assume the FP&A solution has really a single data model, that it's just putting it in once and using it many, as you showed in your demo.
Yeah, no, actually, I was referring to data moving between the internal modules itself. So, for example, the budgeting data that you may have, it will automatically move to your consolidation piece of application. And from there, it can also go to narrative reporting, or from the budgeting module as well, it can directly go to the narrative reporting side. So within the application, the data movement is seamless. And the data that comes from external sources, as we explained earlier, you can also, have a very automated structure for that too.
Fantastic, thank you for that. Okay, so that is it from a questions point of view, unless any of you got any more questions for us. Aaron, if you just press the key for me.
Yeah, sure.
So if any of you have any further questions or would like further information for us, or we can help in any way, you've now got the information in front of you. You've got my email address, you've got Aaron's email address, and a QR code, which will take you to further information on ourselves, Evosys. I just wanted to thank everybody for your time and attendance. Apologies for the slight glitch that we had at the centre. Sometimes these things just can't be helped, and PCs seem to have a life of their own. So apologies for that. If you do need anything from me, please do reach out to me. My name's Martin Hope. The presenter today was Aaron Samkara, and we thank you a lot for your time. Thank you.